welcome back to Rad City Resin. Okay, Raddies, now this AI flower popped up on Pinterest looking like it literally bloomed straight out of my dreams. And of course, I said, challenge accepted. So today we're turning this digital diva into a real life resin masterpiece with glitter, rhinestones, wire chaos, you know, all the usual suspects. So let's go make something awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and start folding this. So I want my flower, or like the center of my flower, to have kind of like a petal shape in the middle. And I'll say like maybe this big, like that. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna make this, I'm going to keep building this out, or keep folding it until I have 8 points. So I have 2, I'm gonna need 8. So I'm gonna go ahead, go like this. Okay, so now I have 4 on each side, or I have 4 sets of points, and I'm going to cut them apart so that I can shape them. So technically you could probably do this without cutting them apart, but I am going to just make my life a lot easier by cutting them off of this line. There we go. Okay. So now I have a handful of these little V-shaped pieces. So what I'm going to do now is shape them. And to do that, first I'm going to create a little bit of a loop up top. Okay, so I have my bail making pliers. I have one of the V's. And I'm basically just going to use this to kind of create like a little loop at the beginning, or at the very top there. And then I'm gonna use, let's see, what do I have? I'll use this. Okay, so I've got that rounded spot at the top, and then I'm gonna shape it around this, and I'm just going to kind of like shape that a little bit. Into a petal like shape. Okay, so I have my wire, my V. I'm going to take my veil making pliers, create that loop at the top. And then I'm going to curve it around like that. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to see how many it takes to create like a flower shape here. It may take all 8, it may not. It doesn't seem like it's going to take all 8, but I'm going to go ahead and just zoom through the rest of the shaping of these. Okay, so I'm using this little tray. I'm using this little tray mold as my kind of staging area, or really, ultimately, it's where I'm going to set everything up to add resin. So First, I've got this little center piece here. That's really just to give me something to kind of like build off of. So I'm just gonna place these around. And the way I like to do this is I like to start at the top and bottom, then this side, and this side. And then, actually, I think I like this one better. This one here. And then now I'm going to start kind of like scooting it into place. So, something like that. Okay, so now I have them all laid out. Now I just need to add a little bit of resin here at the center. And I don't need this centerpiece to be perfect because I am going to be building up more from the center there. So it's okay if it's not laying 1000% perfectly. So I'm going to go tinker with this and line it up exactly how I want it, and then I'll come back and show you the filling in process. Okay, so I have everything combined here in the middle, so they're not gonna like, you know, move when I take them off. Now I'm gonna fill each one with resin. This one is so wonky, but that's okay. It'll look fine in the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill them with resin. I'm gonna start with all of the ones that are fully on the plastic here, and then once those are done, I'll go ahead and take this off, put it on a new piece of tape, and then fill in these two here at the top. So we're just going to go nice and slow so that we don't compromise anything we've built so far. Okay, so these are good to go. They're still very hot, so I'm going to be really careful. And I'm going to slowly work on peeling this tape away. Should help with that. Here we go. And then now I need to do these top two. I think this piece of tape is still okay. Maybe not. I'll try it. Any texture your tape has, including fingerprints or wrinkles or anything like that, your flower is going to pick up. In this case, I am not worried about that because I'm planning on coating these with, I don't know what I'll coat them with yet, but they're going to be coated with something. So it won't be a huge deal if it picks up a lot of texture that I didn't necessarily plan for. Okay. Okay, so I think I figured out what I want to do. I'm going to give all of the petals a very soft, thin glaze. And then I'm going to push them into this. Now I want to do this on the back side so that the front side is still flat, so that whenever I decide I'm going to put embellishments and things like that on it, it'll still adhere pretty nicely. So I'm going to do this on the back side, and then on the front side it'll still be good to go. So let's do this really fast. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little swirl, and then I'm going to use this to push this all over each petal. And hopefully this will be enough. I don't think it's going to be though. I think that is just not quite enough resin, but we're gonna try it. Can always add more, but it's very difficult to try to take some of it off. So, all right, let me just add a little to these side pieces. Okay, all right, and then I'm gonna lay it into this. And then, you know, while it's still laying flat like this, I'm just gonna go ahead and cure it, because it's clear, it should be fine. Okay, so now I have this little flowery gorgeousness, and I'm just going to kind of knock off some of these pieces along the side. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to just cure it on the other side as well. Okay, so I have this cloth that I just dotted with some alcohol ink a long time ago, and I've been slowly pulling strands of it away, and that's really what gave me the idea for this tutorial. So I'm gonna just pull off a few of these and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with them. Okay, so the plan here is I need something that's going to cover this center piece right here. So I'm going to make kind of a bit of a larger jump ring to use as the basis for that. So I'll set these aside for just a second while I get that going. There we go. And I'm just going to lay that right kind of like in the center here. I do want to try to make that meet a little more nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to put that right here. And I do sort of like the glitter that's happening here. You know me, I'm always looking for more glitter. Okay, so now I have my centerpiece, and what I'm going to do is cut these strings into smaller pieces. I don't know how many I'm gonna need, but basically I'm just gonna just line them all up. I've got this so far. What I'm going to do now is kind of trim around the edges and see what other spots might need a little bit more. So I want to make sure that this doesn't really extend beyond the midway point. So about right here is what I'm looking for. Okay. So now I have everything kind of trimmed down. All of these little spare pieces I'm gonna maybe just set aside, but I do still want to kind of keep filling this up a bit more. So I'm going to just keep laying down more and more of these strings. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I have all my strings laid out. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that they remain kind of like sticking out like this. So I'm going to take a little bit of resin on a paintbrush, and I'm just going to kind of coat those just a bit, not a ton, but I just want to give it like some structure. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to put it into this little cup to have it kind of like curl upward. So I need to find my tweezers. Okay, and then I'm just gonna lift it and place it, and place it right in there. And I may need to keep kind of structuring these a bit more. Okay. So now I'm going to cure that. All right. So far, so good. Okay. So now I'm going to start working on assembly. So while I was waiting for everything to cure, I went ahead and made this too. I used the exact same process as I did for this guy, just with the longer, thinner petals, and I ended up needing 8 instead of 6. So my plan here is to stack these up like that, and then this in the middle. But I need to figure out like how I want to color this before I start laying, or before I add this in there. Okay, so let's do that. So I did a little bit of like detail in the middle with some gold, and I also glued on 3 little guys there. But I definitely know I want a few more rhinestones, but I don't know how else I want to color it. I'm thinking I might just like paint the backside with some purple alcohol ink and call it a day. Yeah, let's try that. Let's see what that would look like. Okay, I have some violet colored alcohol ink, and I'm going to use that to kind of paint the back side here. Okay, I need a little bit of alcohol ink to make sure that these colors will spread properly. Okay, I'm loving how that's looking. I'm going to give it just a minute or so to dry. And then on the back of this, I kind of want this to be like a cream color. I don't really have anything to pull that off with. So, let's see what we'll do. Okay, stand by. Okay. Lay that right there in the middle. Okay, looking good so far. Now I'm going to put my middle piece here. Okay, looking really cute so far. Now the next thing I need to do is kind of fill this center piece here. So ordinarily that would be like, there would be like little pods in there. So I think that'll be a little complicated to try to figure out. So instead I'm just gonna fill the center with some of these really pretty rhinestone crystals. I'm just gonna grab a handful of them, set the rest aside. Okay, so I'm gonna just put some right here in the middle. It's so cute. I love it. Wouldn't this be a really cool corsage? I think prom season's over though. But I'm super pleased with how this turned out. Looks really cool. This barrette clip to the back of it to turn it into a cute little hairpiece. So I'm just gonna flip it over and put just a good healthy dollop of it right there in the middle. And I'm gonna lay that right across, and I'm gonna try to make sure that I get it a good even weight, like that. Okay. And Okay. And then just to make sure that it's not gonna go anywhere, I am gonna put a little so that it kind of like goes over that metal piece. So I'm gonna just like that. And then that should keep everything in. And there she is. If you loved this sparkly little journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another Wednesd-AI drop. Tell me in the comments down below which AI design I should be tackling next. All right, Raddies, go make something awesome this week. And as always, stay rad. If you had fun recreating this AI masterpiece, definitely check out my Wednesd-AI playlist. Click here now.